Every year of students at Tokyo Metropolitan Curse Technical College has a shared theme for all of their techniques. Fate makes sure they all fit the same idea that the story wants to explore. In universe, this would be because the world's ecosystem of cursed energy has a bit of intelligence to it, and makes connections and patterns as civilization advances, which is how new technologies mix with curses and sorcery. Because people produce cursed energy, fearing smartphones creates a smartphone curse, which can now deliberately wreak havoc, physical havoc, on the world based on that concept. Cursed energy comes with a little bit of intelligence. Even concepts carry over from the people who produce cursed energy to the ways that energy accumulates and produces cursed spirits. On a larger scale, overall patterns of cursed energy would cause their own layers of patterns of physical effects. So, as new technologies become popular, the world will know that people can be born who will develop talents and passions for these technologies, so it can give them matching techniques. Out of universe, this allows the story to design every character and ability entirely around the specific plot it wants to have happen, without having to worry about whether the lack of techniques that aren't thematically relevant or the amount of characters that have oddly similar names to each other would make the setting too uncanny to believe. The first-year students of 2005 are themed around the types of people who excel academically in high school. We see their time at Jujutsu High in a flashback arc, where a major topic is how the immensely talented next generation, who the world will eventually be carried on the shoulders of, might not have a full understanding of the responsibilities their talents come with, since their worldviews are still those of teenagers. Even if students are traditionally smart and can stay on top of their classes with great grades, they might still only see those grades as an inconvenient part of their routine. They'd see their strengths that are being graded as important tools for their own well-being and performance in school, but might not necessarily understand the complexity or ongoing crises of the adult world around them that are relying on how they develop those strengths. So we have three types of top student. The first is the kind that's naturally talented and goes through life their own way because they don't have to try or take anything seriously, which is represented by Shoko. Reverse curse technique is awakened by people who figure out how to apply their human limits effectively. Usually, it requires someone realizing what their lack of power can still be put toward, like someone who can only hold people back by having exclusive power over them, realizing they can use that power to repel threats and allow people to develop safely. Or someone who can't solve a crisis, realizing they can keep the torch lit to pass to someone else. Being born with reverse cursed technique means you're naturally wired to apply your brain power effectively. It's a way of symbolizing the general idea of being born with meaningful talent. You can take whatever limits you're born with and make use of them, just like how reverse cursed technique users tend to accept their curses. For Shoko, this means she'll still attend school and pass her classes, but she's finding her own way of life through those restrictions. She can approach them in unorthodox ways without having to take anything seriously, and grow up using her talents to excel academically and remain carefree. Despite how grim the underlying world is, or how important academics are to other students, because school is life to them, which is part of why the JJK equivalent is that they're fighting for their lives against actual cursed spirits. Shoko is a cautionary tale, because never having to take anything seriously meant that she would never develop a solid method to solve real problems or understand her own feelings. So while she could be chill with dark subjects or jobs, she just learned to cope with her own issues and find ways to relieve stress, while letting things get worse until someone else hopefully deals with them. If you want to heal others with reverse curse technique, you need to be able to accept curses in general, and find some common ground so you can impose your own way of working around curses on others. Sukuna sees himself as a curse to cope, and has fun making other people worse like he is, so not only can he use reverse curse technique, he can heal others. And Yuta starts relying on the violent curse he has no direct control over to give him the power to protect others, which empowers and influences them to work better with their curses too. giving Yuta the ability to heal others with reverse curse technique, while Rika also gets it for being able to protect Yuta. Shoko's innate ability is to be unserious and find her own way to interpret and comfortably live in her circumstances, even if she's not addressing any root problems and only responding to events after they happen. It makes her great at working in a morgue, but not great at healing people whose curses themselves are the methods she would impose to try to deal with curses. She has the ability to make people like Gojo and Geto be willing to mess around more, which is where her ability to heal people comes from, although you could also say it's the other way around. But Inumaki's curse makes him a prankster already, and Kurusu has a habit of letting time pass her by while she reminisces on the past, so Shoko can't properly heal either of them. You can see something similar in Modulo, where the new healer, someone who's super anxious and lighthearted despite the severity of their job, which we're meant to assume is because her unorthodox nature of dealing with problems that she imposes on others is that she doesn't let the weight of things get under her skin or force her to lose her spark, so her frantic behavior and concerns with basic conversation is refreshing in a room with people that prioritize and have to worry about the fate of the world, can't heal actual serious internal injuries to organs, because that lack of responsible focus doesn't actually solve serious issues. The opposite of Shoko is Geto. His technique is cursed spirit manipulation, which he gets because he's the type of student that only excels in school because he puts the work in. Cursed spirit manipulation doesn't do anything on its own, but each spirit he forces down his throat and goes out of his way to collect can become an asset, because the technique is based on how you can get smarter with each topic you go out of your way to memorize. He has the talent to do well as long as he studies. So he's the stickler type that also has an equally simplistic view of the world as Shoko. It's just that his is some parroted belief about how he should take his education extremely seriously because there's some moral obligation to help the rest of the world with it. He's meant to be the type of student that doesn't realize they're burning out from the pressure and nauseating study routine the education system tricked him into thinking was sustainable. So when he realizes that most of the world who don't have the ability to gain the skills he's suffering to learn for everybody's sake, even if they try, are so clueless that they have no appreciation for what he does and actually drag his efforts down through their own lack of potential to ever be meaningfully competent, which is unchangeable because of how they're born, the only way he can make his moral obligation balance out to be sustainable for him too is if he puts the moral fault on the people who can never be a net positive. For having so low potential, they're inherently dragging the rest of the world down, at least as far as he can tell. So to him, they're basically the same thing as cursed spirits, just without any value even if he does control them, unless they're rich or famous, or an entire amalgamated group. The same way he uses cursed spirits that have cursed techniques, and turns the rest into Uzumaki blasts. The last student of the three is Gojo, who's the type of student that's naturally talented, but also puts in the work to study, so his potential is unparalleled. He comes from a family that passed down education, because every now and then, if a talented member is born, they can make use of that education to surpass every other person out there in competence, maintaining the power and status of the family line. His curse technique is the education. It's theory and formulas that are only useful if you have the talent, which are the eyes to naturally and efficiently apply it. Instead of the moral spiel Geto's taught, because he comes from a family of regular people, Gojo puts pressure on himself to study because it's how he's able to personally thrive. But because of this, it opens his mind to new ideas and perspectives, which ends up saving the world. Because Geto could only get so far before his worldview breaking, and only Gojo's eyes can use things that would be broken for everyone else. But you know what is usable for everyone? The Blade of the Grass Patreon, with video soundtracks, some scripts, Q&As, access to a special server, and notes from whatever skill I try to learn every month. I would not have cursed spirit manipulation because I do not have an aptitude for learning new things, but I still try. This month, I've been told to write a novel with a power system, so I'm going to see what personal formulas are effective to write with, and how many drafts are possible to complete for the word count. I guess if I did have a curse technique, it would be making QR codes, and anyone who looks at them has to go see the link. Check out the Patreon now, it's only $5. It's worth it, it's worth it. Go over there, do it. Yeah, I'm running out of things to say. See ya.